Presentations of learning provide an opportunity for students to demonstrate their academic and personal growth over their time at Crossroads. Each student does a 45-minute presentation at the end of their 7th and 8th grade years.
Good morning, everyone. I am James Towns, a 6th grader at the Crossroads School. Thank you for taking the time to attend my presentation of learning.
My name is Capri Short and welcome to my presentation of learning.
Hello and welcome to my 2006 presentation of learning. My name is Rashawn Watson.
Good afternoon and welcome to my presentation of learning. My name is Brittany Sawyer Munoz and I'm a 7th grader at the Crossroads School.
The presentation of learning panels consist of parents, Crossroads faculty, community leaders, and invited guests. All students are responsible for inviting their parents as well as 2 other special adults. Our school invites diverse members of the community. During this presentation, I will be sharing some of the progress I have made at this school year. Before I begin, I'd like to introduce the individuals I have invited. This is my aunt, Latavia Towns. This is my other aunt, Danielle Smith. And this is my mentor, Mr. Bob. For the rest of the panel, please introduce themselves.
Hello, and thank you for coming to my 7th grade presentation of learning. Again, I'm Claire Rockman. This is my mother, Susan Justice, my aunt, Sonia Lee, my father, Abdul Rockman, Mr. Conrad, and Mr. Scott. Would you please introduce yourself?
I'm Bonnie Copeland. I'm the CEO of the school system.
Okay, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My mom and my advisory teacher / math science teacher. And would you guys like to introduce yourself?
I'm Joni Berman with the Maryland Charter School Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Willard Brooks at the Community College of Baltimore County, where I'm a professor.
And I'm a professor from Towson University. My name is Dr. Sharon Pitcher.
POLs are organized in 2 ways. 7th graders develop a 5-part metaphor as a guide through their work. They must support each part of their metaphor with appropriate work samples.
In class, I made a metaphor that describes my 7th grade year. My metaphor was 7th grade has been like being in a race because you go in one direction towards your goal, which is the finish line. But sometimes I get sidetracked and distracted. I chose this metaphor because it really does describe my 7th grade year. I work really hard trying to reach my goals, but sometimes I get distracted. The first part of my metaphor is I'll start up my engine and I'll rev it up, get ready to go when the light turns green. The artifact I chose for this part of the metaphor is adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing integers. This part connects to my metaphor because it shows how I start off the race, which is by taking the pretest. The second part of my metaphor is the light turns green and I go. My tires are turning so fast I leave marks on the ground. The artifact that I chose was my nutrient poster. This artifact demonstrates how well I was doing in the beginning of this project.
To start off, I will start off with my metaphor that clearly states how my 7th grade was, which was like a fire burning out of control. I chose this because it really showed my emotions and corresponds to the work, my artifact that I will be showing you today. Also, like, when you finally put that fire out, it's a relief. 7th grade is a relief to me because it's like, I've done it.
8th graders divide their presentation into 3 primary learnings. The students tie their learnings together with a theme.
This year, this presentation, we had a little bit more freedom. We was able to do it our way. We had to choose primary learnings. Primary learnings are like major learnings that we learned here at Crossroads over the 3 years we've been here.
My name is Rashawn Watson, and as you know, this is not only my last presentation of learning I'll be doing, but this presentation of learning will be different because this responds to me as all 3 grades, not just 1 grade as 8th grade, just 6th, 7th, and 8th. And something that's different about this POL is that the work this POL is not about the work. It's more about me than the work. So that's why it won't be actually on, it's going to be about the work, but more about myself and my learnings over the past years.
Basically, I'm going to be presenting 3 primary learnings, and over the course of this year, I've learned how to professionally state my opinion, to show commitment and quality in my work, which you can see over here, and to learn from my personal understanding, which can also be compared to in-depth learning. All these primary learnings connect to my theme somehow, which is just keep swimming, and by the end of my presentation, I hope you'll be able to understand what that actually means, because I know most of you are saying, like, what is that? And if you think about it, it's a metaphor.
All right, and this year, my POL is going to be different from any other year because I'm going to be showing artifacts from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And my POL is also based on the theme, and my theme is being a well-rounded person is essential for learning and success.
POLs build in students a commitment to meeting grade level learning targets and producing high quality work for an outside audience. Also, students develop a sense of pride in work and achievement and the understanding of strengths, challenges, and learning styles.
And with this theme, I have 3 primary learnings. And my first one is that I've learned it is essential to learn the value of communicating in groups and being part of a community. And that's something I really struggled with because in 6th grade, I was really silent and I liked to stay to myself because I really didn't know anyone. And the first project that we did as a group was the Oyster Big Book in science class. And we also have some drafts for you to look at. And during this time, we were learning about the Chesapeake Bay and the environment. And a big part of that is oysters because they filter algae from the water. So we wanted to do it in a friendly way so other people can learn about oysters in the Chesapeake Bay. So we wrote a story about Kenny the blue oyster. And basically, this oyster one day, he's just relaxing on his oyster bed, and his parents get harvested. And he's like, well, with all these oysters leaving the bay, how are we going to filter the water? And he bumps into all these characters like Mr. Krabs and Mr. Algae, who's his enemy. And he learns about diseases such as dermal and MSX that affect oysters. And when we were finally done the product, we actually presented it to an elementary school in Baltimore City, which is General Wolf. And the problem we had was that our pages were out of order when we were reading it, so we went from page 1 to page 5 to page 7, which was really bad, but I think it was a good experience.
Basically what we had to do was just tell about it, things like the causes, the people involved, why it occurred, how it affected others, and the aftermath and things such as that. And we also had to include pictures and captions. And actually my article was very biased, but it was supposed to be, if you think about it, because I wanted to persuade my audience, which goes back to one of my primary learners of professionally stating my opinion. I wanted to persuade my audience into believing what I believe, which is that the country should sway to union-like ways and to anti-slavery ways.
In this project, we learned that there are actually more than 9 planets. There's actually more than 9 planets. There are hundreds of planets, not just 9. And there was also a controversy on the 9th planet. People saying that Pluto was or was not a planet. That was new knowledge to the 8th graders because everybody in elementary school, everybody said that Pluto was a planet. And then when I got to this project, it was like, it's actually people arguing about whether it is or not. So this project really opened up your mind to think about different arguments about whether Pluto is a planet or not.
And I connected everything in my report back to the Pledge of Allegiance, which states one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And so the main question that I leave at the end was, okay, well, the United States projects this image of greatness and honesty, but is it really true? Is it one nation under all? Are we divided into different groups? Are we all together? Are we united? Is everything that they do justified? Does it have liberty? And so basically I just leave that question at the end of my
paper.
Presentations of learning also give students the unique opportunity to reflect upon their growth as a person. Throughout the process, they discovered how they have matured and also set personal goals and action steps to better themselves in the future.
But commitment to quality, which I think this artifact shows a lot, is not just about something looking good on the outside, it's also about the content of it on the inside. So I think with this project also it shows great writing, and also in the graphs they were accurate. So I think it looked good and was good on the inside also.
To start off, I want to just tell you that my theme is growth and how I've grown and matured over the past 3 years I've been here at Crossroads. You know, when I say maturity, not only do I mean maturity as in how I act and what I do, positive or negatively, the maturity in my work, how it's grown and how it's more commitment to quality now. These artifacts also show my growth over the years, because if you look at my 6th grade reflection, it's crap basically. It's like it's not tight for one. It's like the lines are not straight. It's all like crooked all over the place, so it looked like I was writing sideways. And it has words on it, but doesn't really say anything. As you get to the 8th grade, you see it's typed, fully formatted paragraphs, has my voice in it, has what it's supposed to have in it. So.
In your book review reflection, you wrote, while completing this writing assignment, I learned that I sometimes treat people in a way that I would not want to be treated. After reading this book, I decided to try to respect others and be more aware of their feelings. Can you talk a little bit about how the connection between this book and that learning?
Sure. I used to gossip a lot, or think that I always had to be involved in situations. Like, for instance, in 4th and 5th grade, I was always in peer mediation. And it wasn't that I was always the problem all the time, but it was that I would always just put myself in a predicament that I didn't even have to be in. And I haven't been in situations like that since I read this book, because I think I really see how just little teeny comments can make people feel. So now when I see like somebody talk about somebody, I say, you know, that's not nice. You won't want somebody to say that about you. Or I really think about what I say before I say it.
How do you think you would be different if you had gone to a traditional middle school?
I don't know, that's a hard question. That's real hard to describe. I don't really think I would have learned as much as I've learned over these past 3 years if I went to camp. There's a lot more kids, and since there's been eyes all over me for the past 3 years, they can really critique me on what I've been doing. But with more kids, need more attention, and I don't think I would have got that much of critique, and I don't even think I would have been in 8th grade if I would have went to camp.
Not only do students reflect on their artifacts, work canvas, and the 5 promises, they also have to be ready to think on their feet and answer questions thoughtfully and thoroughly.
You said you found out how cool it was. What was something cool about your scale that you can share with us?
The scale was 70 million kilometers, and the solar system would equal 1 meter. And what was really cool about our scale was, well, not about the scale, but how the scale changed the solar system was, if we were to plot every plaque and planet on our campus, the Oort cloud, which is the most outer kind of category that we know of, our plaque would have to be in West Virginia. So in order to actually scale it out, our plaque would have to be in West Virginia, because it's so big and so far away from the other planets.
What was it like for you giving a presentation to younger students?
Oh man, it's really hard to keep their attention because they're so active and moving and all this energy, but you really have to keep their focus.
Any questions about the artifact I have?
I have a question. Why was the fire burning out of control and you didn't want to put it out?
Well, because I turned this in late.
and it was hard to get all the stuff together, like, okay, this goes here, the statistics, and I'm not that good in math. So it was very hard to get myself together and type up things that I knew for statistics and probability, because Marsh Madness project was based on probability.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? What did you learn about probability from the project?
I learned how to use the decimals, and also in the basketball game, they use decimals, percents, and when we had to look, and I was looking at like what? But you know, I got to know how to convert them to fractions. I already knew that, but I wasn't that good. But by me practicing with the Marsh Madness project, I got to know how to do it better like that.
What skills do you have to use that you learned in your with your math problems? How do you think you can apply that to further math courses that you're going to take in the future?
I use a lot of math thinking skills, such as graphing equations, forming equations, solving equations, and I think another main skill that I used was checking my work. And so, for instance, if I didn't check one of my problems, I could have gotten it wrong, and it could have easily just taken me a few minutes to make sure it was right. So I think that's important. It can be applied to any math lesson that I learned throughout any of my math studies.
But how do you feel like the portfolio process has helped you throughout the past 3 years, and how do you feel like it's going to help you in the rest of your life?
I think it has helped me. I know I'm sweating right now, but I feel more open when I talk to people in larger groups, and it's helped me become a better speaker. It really helped me step up and speak and project myself.
After all the compiling, reflecting, practicing, and presenting, students can speak intelligently about their work, have honed public speaking skills, built confidence, and have the ability to think on their feet. The reward for completing a POL? Pass to the next grade and prepare for it all over again.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Any questions about the artifact I have?
Are there any questions?
Any questions?
Any questions?
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Before I would like to ask, do you have any further questions?
Why did you ask that question?
Anybody need me to read that card over again?